Hi, welcome back to my channel. If this is the first time for you to be here, my name is Rachel and I am so glad to have you. Thank you for joining. Today I'm going to be showing y'all how to make apple crisp in a cast iron skillet. And there are a few reasons that I like it in cast iron skillet. For one, I just think cooking in cast iron makes everything better. Honestly, I just think it makes everything better. It's so like cozy and homey, and it just feels extra. I don't know, sometimes I just like doing easy things that just feel extra. So today I'm going to be doing this. It's a 9-inch cast iron skillet, so as you can see, it's not real big. If you have a larger family, make it in a bigger one, a deeper dish. You could also do it in an 8x8 pan if you don't have a cast iron skillet. If you wanted to make a 9x13 pan, you could easily double the recipe. So we'll talk about that when we're actually making it, but this is what I'm making it in today. And let's get started. So first we're gonna make our topping, and it's gonna be a crumble crisp topping. So I have this handy little biscuit cutter, I think is what it's called, but it's to chop the butter into your flour mixture. If you don't have one of these, you can just use a fork, your hands. It's not like you don't have to have this. It is very handy though. So what you'll need is a 1/2 cup of flour, and this is just some whole wheat flour that I got from Azure Standard. I get it in bulk, and so I just keep some in a jar for easier in and out. Okay. A 1/2 cup of oats. Now you want old-fashioned rolled oats. You don't want quick oats or anything like that. It works steel cut. You want old-fashioned oats or rolled oats. That's what's going to work the best for a recipe like this. Okay, and then I'm doing a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. That is less. I've cut the sugar back in this recipe because I wanted something that you could use for dessert. It tastes plenty sweet, trust me. Or you could even eat it for like a breakfast apple crumble or something like that, because it does have less sugar and it's fruit, and it's kind of like eating oatmeal with apples, you know? Okay, so I'm just kind of packing it against the side of the jar. It's not super difficult. You don't have to be absolutely precise. It's not going to ruin the recipe. Okay, and then I'm going to do a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. Okay, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And this is also from Azure Standard. It's a Himalayan pink salt. It's what we typically use. It would help if I turn this spoon the correct way. Okay. And then I have 6 tablespoons of butter that I have cubed up, as you can see. It just works better to incorporate it that way if you already have it cubed than trying to mash up a huge big old stick. So 6 tablespoons of butter. It's been sitting here for a little while, so it's kind of soft. And I'm just going to kind of mix enough to get the butter coated with some flour and stuff, so it's not trying to stick. Okay, we are also going to add some pecans. You don't have to. I think it just really pushes it over the edge. It kind of makes it taste like Thanksgiving, because it's very similar to a sweet potato casserole topping, and I love sweet potato casserole. But you don't put the pecans in until after you finish incorporating your butter. So like I said, you can use your fingers. I'm just going to use this biscuit cutter and just chop that butter up in there really well and get it all mixed in. Alright, once your butter is well incorporated with your toppings, it's going to be pretty crumbly, and it probably have some bigger clumps in there too, but don't worry about it. And we're going to set this aside. So now I'm going to go ahead and slice my apples up, peel them, and get them ready to go. I'll probably end up using 4. I grabbed 5 just in case. The last few times I've made this, it did cook down a bit, so I'm gonna pack the pan tighter than I did last time. So we'll see how many it ends up being, and I'll weigh it for you too, so you can have the weight if you're interested in the weight. But I'm gonna go ahead and core, slice, and peel the apples. And this is just the way that I think it's easiest. I go ahead and slice it, and then I peel it afterwards. So do it however you like. This is what works for me. And I'm slicing it probably about 1/4 of an inch thick, and then I'm gonna go back and cut these slices in half. And you do want it to be relatively uniform so that they'll cook evenly. You don't want like a huge, some huge chunks that don't get cooked all the way. Cutting and peeling and coring the apples is definitely the longest part of this process. And I almost forgot when to put the pecans in the crust, in the topping. So we're gonna go ahead and do that real quick, because if not, I'll forget to do it. So just go ahead and put your pecans in. I am doing 3/4 of pecans because I really like them in there. You could do a 1/2 cup, or if you don't really like pecans, you could just totally leave them out. It'll still be delicious. So I'm just going to stir those up in there, kind of mash them a little bit and try to get them just incorporated into that topping. And this is what you want that to look like. Now this is done, I'm going to set it back aside. So for my apples, I used Granny Smith. You can use pretty much any kind you want. A firmer apple is definitely going to work better because it won't break down quite so much when you cook it, but it'll still get soft. I use Granny Smith. It's what I've been using for this recipe, and it was delicious. Everyone loved it. I keep all these yummy bits for the goats because they go crazy over them. So they'll be getting this treat soon. But now that that's done, I'm going to take my cast iron skillet over to the stove, and I'm going to melt 3 tablespoons of butter in here and be right back. Okay, so my butter's melted. I'm gonna go ahead and add my apples into the pan and then mix in all the other delicious stuff. And like I said, they do cook down a lot, so I'm gonna kind of overfill it a little bit so that when it cooks down, it'll still be a nice full pan. And this is 1 pound, 1.4 pounds of apples. And I did end up doing the 5 of the Granny Smith apples. So that is what we have here. And now, it's a little warm right here. Okay, now we're gonna do our mix-ins for this. I'm gonna stir it around a little bit with the butter. You could also mix all of the dry ingredients on your apples in a different bowl, but I like to minimize dishes as much as possible, so we're gonna make it work in this, even though it's a little small to be stirring in. Gonna make it happen. Okay, so I am going to do a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. I'm gonna do a 1/4 of a cup of brown sugar. A tablespoon of flour. And then I'm going to go ahead and mix this together before I add my other wet ingredients in. We're going to get a salad on here. So I'm going to get to and toss them like a salad. Look how much better that works. I might learn slow, but I'm learning. Okay, now I am going to add in 5 tablespoons of water. It's going to help make it really juicy and delicious. I'm going to add in about a teaspoon of vanilla. I love vanilla, it makes everything better. A little bit more. Okay, and about a tablespoon of lemon juice. You could measure it if you want. Okay, and then we're gonna mix that in. And I can only imagine how delicious this would be with actual fresh picked off of the tree apples. I've never even eaten fresh right off the tree apples, so I can't even imagine how good it would be. Everything is better fresh. It would be delicious. Then I'm just going to pour on my topping. And then just kind of spread it around real good and pat it down a little bit. This is looking amazing already. It's not even cooked yet. Okay, and also, like, if you like less crumble, if you like more crumble, you can totally adjust it to what you like. That's the beauty of stuff like this, is you don't have to follow it exactly as it's written. Just make it your own, do whatever you want, and use the recipe as a base, just like it's suggestions. And you know, there are a few things you can't do stuff like that with cake, like cakes and, you know, baked, kind of like more baking kind of things like cakes. But the majority of recipes, you can totally tweak them to be however you want them to be. So we're gonna throw this in the oven, 375 for about 30 minutes until you'll see the juices are bubbling up. It's gonna be nice and golden, crispy on top. It's gonna be amazing. So let's throw this in the oven. Okay, just put it out the oven. Here's the finished apple crisp. It smells divine. It smells so delicious. I can't wait to try some. And my crust I let it go a little extra, so my crust did get a little bit dark on top. If you need to let it go longer, you know, you can like poke it with a fork and see if the apples are tender. If you need to go longer and your crust is your crumble is getting done on top, just throw a piece of aluminum foil on top of it, and that'll keep it from overcooking on the top while the inside still has plenty of time to get done. So you can see, hopefully, like the juice on the side, it just looks delicious. So you could serve this with ice cream. I mean, of course, it's wonderful with ice cream. You could do like a homemade caramel sauce drizzle over top of this with ice cream, would be amazing. Or, like I mentioned earlier, if you wanted to serve it as a breakfast, since it is a little lighter on the sugar, I can totally go for this as oatmeal and apples for breakfast. You could do a dollop of fresh whipped cream. That would be amazing for this for a breakfast with some fresh whipped cream on it. I'm gonna have to try that soon. It sounds delicious. So anyway, apple crisp, I hope you love it. It is just the perfect way to welcome in fall and get that going. because I am so excited for this cooler weather and getting some fall things going. I hope you'll give it a try. I definitely think that you'll enjoy it. If you like fruity kind of desserts, it is a winner for sure. And also, if you want to print the recipe, you can check in the description box below. I'll put a link for the blog post where you can go print the recipe. And also, to pin it, I'll put a link for the pin in the description box as well. If you want to pin it straight to your Pinterest board of fall desserts or your favorite desserts or something like that, I'll put a link for the Pinterest down there so you can save it for later and come back to it. Please, if you haven't already, I really appreciate for you to subscribe. Give it a thumbs up if you like the video. Subscribing is something that's quick and easy and free, but it really, really means so much and helps my channel grow and be shown to more people and all that good stuff. So it means the world to me when you subscribe and like and share and all that good stuff. So thank you. So thank you for joining today. I hope you try the recipe and I hope you love it as much as we have. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Hi, welcome back. If this is the first time for you, hi. Or you could even eat it for like a healthy kind of dessert. Is there anything else I was supposed to say about that? I don't think so. What do you need?
No, I'm not coming in here.
Oh, what are you doing?
No, I was seeing.
Okay, my head's chopped off.